Looking back on high school, you probably think you made some dumb decisions now, right? Our brains are always changing and developing, and we're always getting better at making decisions. Us freshmen will probably look back and think we could have acted better, and upperclassmen are probably looking back thinking they were stupid as freshmen. Therefore, different years at CCU should have different visitation hours. Some of us have just moved away from our families and who have helped guide us for the past 18 years, and we have the most freedom we've ever had. The school still has some rules in place, and for good reason. Some of us don't know how to do this adult thing quite yet, because we practically turn into adults overnight.
Now picture this. You're a freshman here at Colorado Christian University, and it's 9 p.m. on a weekday. You finished all of your studying and homework because you're a responsible adult now, and you just want to watch a movie in your apartment with some of your upperclassmen friends. You can't though because it's almost 10 p.m. on a weekday, and according to visitation hours, you can't do this. So different year students at Colorado Christian University should not have different visitation hours. Personally, I don't think it's necessary for CCU to establish these different hours of visitation for different year students because we're all adults, and it'd be so much easier if we all could just follow the same guidelines.
Page 173 of the CCU Student Handbook says that upperclassmen are to follow freshman visitation hours when in freshman housing. This encourages freshmen to continue following the guidelines and not just try to get out of it because they're with upperclassmen. We're all different ages at CCU, and we all have different decision-making skills based on our different experiences and our different ages. So CCU is helping upperclassmen encourage freshmen to make better decisions by adhering to this rule.
We are adults in college now, though, and can be responsible for our own curfews. I do think it's beneficial that we have some rules and regulations when it comes to visitation hours, but freshmen shouldn't have stricter hours because it doesn't really make sense to me. Some freshmen are 18 years old, 19, 20, and above, and there are some sophomores that are around that same age. A couple years of age isn't going to make a huge difference in maturity levels. According to the student handbook, freshman visitation hours are 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. on weekdays and 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. Thursday through Saturday. Upperclassmen have 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. every single day. Some students are also freshmen by year, but sophomore or junior by credit, including myself. So this can cause confusion when knowing what visitation hours apply to you. If the hours were consistent and same for every grade, this confusion could be reduced.
While that is an important point, it's also important to think about our roommates and be considerate of their time and space. Hillsdale Collegian student newspaper from another college says that everyone typically goes to bed starting around 10 p.m. on weeknights, and you want to be able to have quiet time to take a shower, get ready for bed, and not worry about your roommate's friend of the opposite sex possibly invading your privacy. They also state that most students in dorms are living independently for the first time in their lives, and rules can help them make rational decisions. Both of these statements show that freshmen do not need more visiting hours than they already have, especially since CCU offers other options like still hanging out in common areas or going off campus to hang out past visiting hours.
That is a good point, but also what if some of the other options in CCU are busy? For example, the game room in Anschutz isn't always open for kids to watch movies because other people are there. So what difference does a few hours really make? As I stated before, freshman visitation hours are 10 to 10 on weekdays and 10 to 12 on weekends. Yes, maybe those extra hours could encourage students to go to bed early and study, but in reality, most of us are probably just going to go back to our rooms and stay up just as late. So those few extra hours that upperclassmen have don't make a huge difference. Freshmen should be allowed to have those extra hours included in their visitation hours as well.
That is a good point as well. But I might ask, what difference does the extra hours make that we could possibly have? As Christians, we're called to remain pure in our relationships for marriage, if you believe that. So if this is a belief we hold, what's the benefit in staying in an opposite sex room past 10 p.m. or 12 a.m. on weeknights and weekends if we are, in fact, wanting to remain pure? If we have a boundary in place to lessen the possibility of something being a gray area or being overstepped or something possibly bad happening, it'll be better for freshmen in the long run.
Just think about how much easier it would be for all students to have the same visitation hours. First, it's easier to remember that all students of opposite genders would have to be out of the dorms by 2 a.m. every day. Second, students wouldn't be able to make up any excuses or forget how some rules don't apply to them. Yes, freshman year is a time to mature, grow, and get the hang of college, but overall, I think CCU should consider changing the visitation hours to 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. every day.
Imagine if CCU students were letting each other go into each other's rooms whenever they please for whatever reason and whatever gender. While this is kind of extreme, there would most likely be an uproar of roommate conflict, as well as many CCU lifestyle covenant issues. Therefore, I know I like to have a lot of quiet time at night to calm down and get ready for bed. Therefore, I encourage you to reflect on the visitation hours and why they're in place, and what the benefit is for you personally.
Thank you. One question for affirmative and one for negative.
So you mentioned that the visitation hours help keep us pure as Christians, but wouldn't it be a better option just to not be able to go into the opposite gender's rooms?
That is a good point as well. I think one thing that CCU has in place that's really helpful with that is that we aren't allowed to go into each other's bedrooms at all. So I think it's still good that they allow us to have our own living space and invite friends over as you would as an adult. So I think they're treating us as adults in that aspect and not cutting it off completely. But it's still good to be smart about it and just say, this is the boundary, since this is kind of a new concept that we have so much freedom. And just put that boundary in place to say, here's the line for now, and put the rules in place while you're still able to have them.
Oh, my bad.
Head for Brooke, please.
Just for clarification, you were talking about how you could be first year, they classify you as first year, but you could have credits for being a sophomore or junior. Do they clarify it in the handbook of which one to follow for that?
Yeah, if you're a first-time freshman by year, not credit, you have to follow freshman visitation hour guidelines.